Hi everyone, these are Math SL practice problems for exponential and logarithmic functions. These are the easier sets. There's 7 problems. They're all worth about 4 to 6 marks each. And there'll be 2 other videos. That one video is 16 marks. That includes a graph. And then another Math SL practice problem will be with the use of a calculator. These are all questions pulled from prior Math SL exams. So we're doing 7 problems. Be familiar with your properties of logs, and LNs. So basically this is your product property, and before you watch this video you should already know these. If you don't, you need to review that. I do have videos on these. This is your quotient property. And this is your power property. So I'll be referring to these. Alright, and then also be familiar with your identities. These are your identities. This is because any base to the first power equals b. And this is because e to the first power equals e. Remember, e equals 2.718. Therefore, ln would equal 1 over e, which is 0.37. Alright, ln of e equals 0. That's because e to the 0 equals 1. And here are some formulas that you should be familiar with. Basically, if I take this right here and take and switch the x and y and take the ln of both sides, I get this. Same thing for this. If you multiply this by, for example, for this first one, if I switch the x and the y, and then I multiply x by ln of e, all right, move this, you get e to the x equals y. And that's with me switching the x and the y's. If you don't switch the x and the y's, you get this. Same thing for here. You just multiply this by log base of a base. But anyway, here are the formulas, and you should already be familiar with these. So here we go. Start with some of the easy ones. And I couldn't write the whole question down on an iPad, so basically I'll read them to you. It said let log base 3 of, this is not 3, this is c of 3, log base c of 3 equal p, and this is my and sign. Log base c of 5 equal q, and we're supposed to write these expressions in terms of p and q. So I'm going to rewrite this as log base c of 3 times 5, which would be like your m times n, and I'm going to expand. So we get log base c of 3 plus log base c of 5. And then we're just going to substitute these in. Log base c of 3 is p, plus log base c of 5 is q. You could have also done q plus p. And this one we could rewrite as log base c of 5 times 5 and do the same thing we did before, or I'm going to write it as log base c of 5 squared. You'll get the same answer. So when I do that, I'm going to use my power property and bring the 2 in front here. So we get 2 times log base c of 5, which equals 2 times, this equals log base c of 5 is q. So my answer is 2q. Alright, so there are my 2 answers for that. Okay. Number 2 is a little more complicated. This one is basically 6 marks. So the first thing they want us to show is that what the inverse is. And they even tell you what it is. So you just have to show how to get there. So I'm going to change this to a y and rewrite it as y equals log base 3. And I'm going to write my x as x to the 1/2. Remember, square root of x is x to the 1/2. By the way, the domain is all positive integers here. That's going to help us on the next question. So now what I'm going to do is multiply, switch the x and the y. We're doing the inverse. Alright, I'm going to multiply my x here. Now you can use the formula, but the way I'm going to do it is the formal way. Multiply x by log base 3 of 3. Log base 3 of 3 is 1, so I'm just multiplying this by 1. I'm not changing it. Equals log base 3 of y to the 1/2. Now I'm going to use my power property for the first portion. And now since these are the same, I'm just going to solve for y here. So I'm going to square both sides, and you get 3 to the 2x equals y. Basically, you are squaring both sides. This would equal 1. And then we just showed that this is our inverse, and we have that. Now, the next thing they do is they want us to find the range. Well, remember the range. We switch the x and the y. So the range of the inverse is actually the domain of f. So since we have the inverse, it's just going to be y is greater than 0. And that's all you have to do for that. And now they get a little complicated, the C part. They're going to say that g of x equals log base 3 of x, and they want us to compose it, and our answer should be an integer. So I'm going to have to squeeze this on here. So I'm going to rewrite this portion as f inverse of g of 2. Alright? So basically g of 2, I'm just going to do this part. Here's my g. So g of 2 would just be log base 3 of 2. Now, my f inverse was 3 to the 2x. So everywhere there's an x, I'm going to plug in this, because this equals g of 2. So I'm going to write 3 times 2 to the log base 3 of 2. So all I did was substitute this for my x here. I plugged in this into my x. Now, what I'm going to do is write this as a log. So I'm going to set this to x, and I'm going to get log, and my base is 3 of x equals my power. My power in this case is this, 2 times log base 3 of 2. Now I'm going to use my power property and move my 2 here. So that would be 2 squared. Then I can cross out my log base 3's, and I get x equals 2 squared, so x equals 4. Alright? So basically I just rewrote this is in exponential form, and I rewrote this in log form. And then I solved from there. Okay. Now, this next one, number 3, they're saying that if f inverse of 1 equals 8, find k. So the first thing I'm going to do is write this as a y and switch the x and the y. So I get x equals k times log base 2 of y. Now, I'm going to divide both sides by k. And then I'm going to multiply this. So I'm going to have x, I'm going to scoot over here, times log base 2 of 2. I'm multiplying this by 1. So equals log base 2 of y. I'm going to do my power property here, use it. So I get log base 2 of 2 to the x over k equals log base 2 of y. Alright? Now, I cross this out, so I get y equals 2 to the x over k. Now, I know I didn't leave enough room, so basically let's move over here. See if I can squeeze it in there. Now, so I found the inverse. This is your inverse. Now we got to see if they're saying if you plug in 1, you get 8. So 8 equals, I'm using this now, and this is your y. 8 equals 2 to the 1 over k. Now we did this with exponential, so I'm going to show the same base. This is 2 cubed equals 2 to, some of y'all can do this in your head. So 3 equals 1 over k. So k, you cross multiply, you get k equals 1/3. And that's your answer. Alright? Then all you have to do for b is input, my inverse was right here. And I have k is 1/3, so I'm going to substitute y equals my x. This is my x. 2/3 over 1/3. 2 to that. Let me erase that. So basically, let's do it again. So I have 2, my x is 2/3, my k is 1/3. Well, this is actually, the 3's cancel, so we get 2 squared, and this equals 4. Alright? Okay. Now, the next ones are pretty easy, so I'm going to go a little faster. All I'm going to do, this is LN problems. I'm going to expand my LNs using the product property. I'm going to use my quotient property here and move this 3 out in front. So I have 3p plus q by substitution. All right, we've already done some of these before, and I'm just going to do all the problems we found on the test. This one, I'm going to go ahead and write as ln of a to the 1/2 minus ln of b. Use my power property and put that in front. So that goes in front. So a is p and b is q. And that would be your answer. Number 5, they want us to solve for a. This one is a little harder. So basically, I'm going to condense this. I have log base 3 of x over x minus 5 equals log base 3 of a. Cross that out, so I solved for a. A equals x over x minus 5. Now, the next question they ask, let me find it, is given that, we just have to solve, so, well, that was easy. So now the next thing we have to do is solve the equation. So this part was pretty easy. And then we go over here and we solve. And the way I do this, instead of using the formula, I just multiply this by 1. Because 1 times 1 is just 1, and that's going to be log base 3 of 3. Then I use my power property, move the 1 there. So I condense. and then solve for x. So I'm going to cross multiply, group the x's. So x equals 15 over 2, right? Okay, the last two problems are very similar to what we've already done, so I'm going to go really quickly on this. Basically, they want us to write this in terms of p and q. So I have log base a of 5 times 2, which is log base a of 5 plus log base a of 2, and that's just going to be p plus q. This one I'm going to rewrite as log base a of 2 cubed. Move the 3 in front, use my power property. So I got 3 log base a of 2 is q, so 3q. And this is 2.5. So 2.5 is 5/2. And I'm just going to expand using my quotient property. If you notice, there's a lot of these kind of problems, so make sure you know how to do these because they're very simple, and you get some good marks for this. This one's worth 4 marks. So, all right, and the last one's very similar, but I didn't write them all down, so let me get it. They want us to find log base a of 10 first, and so that would be, what I do here. What I'm going to do on this one is just write this. Well, did I write it down right? Let's see. It's log base 2. We're doing log base. Okay, sorry. Got the wrong thing. Alright, so basically what they want us to do here, I should have written it down, is log base 2 of 5. So, since my bases here are a, and this base is 2, I'm going to do a change of base. So I'm going to write this as log of 5 over log of 2. And when you do the change of base, you can make the base anything you want. So that's, I'm going to make it little a here. So log base a of 5 is y, and log base a of 2 is x. So they want us to write this in terms of x and y. The last one is log base a of 20, and the way I would write this is log base a of 4 times 5, expand it using the product property. Right, this is 2 squared. Move the 2 in front. So we get 2 times x plus y. So the answer is 2x plus y. Now, sorry this video is so long, but there were a lot of easy ones on here. Make sure you know your properties before you take your Math SL exam. The next video is going to be on a 16-mark question on logarithms, and then I'll do a short video on 3 calculator problems. Have a nice day. Bye.